Evening, folks. Welcome back to the channel. Pardon any lag. I think I've got to move my screens a bit. That's how my last show started out, and I was getting dropped frames, and then I proceeded to do it for the entire 2 hours. That was hard on my eyes. I tried to get things fixed up today. I was looking things up. There's a lot wrong. There was also a hissing sound. But one thing at a time. I was trying to do something with the visuals, and I'm pretty sure whatever I tried, nothing changed it for the better. So I just put things back, but there's no reason for it to do what it was doing. If you know how to make Streamlabs stop dropping frames, put it in the comment section, please, because otherwise I'm going to have to spend almost what I spent on the laptop to get a camera that's going to do what the last one did. It just needs to film and not drop frames. And if it's going to give me this, then it's going to have to be 60 FPS. Nobody's going to watch a show like that. That's so unacceptable. And I'm glad if you did sit through it, because I had fun with what I was saying and what I was talking about, but it would have been really nice to have the visuals to go along with it. It would have been really nice if my equipment could have just done what it's always been doing since March of 2020. Well, I started doing live shows in May of 2024, but it's been over a year. There was no reason for it. All of this stuff is brand effing new. It should be illegal to have anything in 30 FPS. They ought to do away with that. Everything should be at least 60 FPS. No exceptions. You buy something out of the box, like cheap as is, say camera in the laptop, 60 FPS. I don't care. This is unacceptable. Nobody moves. Nobody. You're never talking to anybody in real life and they have dropped frames. They don't like pause and don't move for a few seconds and then continue moving, unless they're on drugs. I have seen that in real life. It was an older lady. My friend noticed it. I don't know what she was on, but she was buffering. It was just this really maybe she was holding on to the stroller, and they're like when the grandma's with the rest of the family, and she just over the course of about 2 or 3 minutes, me and my friend just sort of watched her kind of. I don't know what if she fell over, she would have been on the grass, so at least there was that, but kind of giggling at that. We were adults too. That was kind of silly. Just having good fun. Back when I went outside over at I mentioned the Walleye Festival before. I don't know if it still goes on, but it was fun. Trying to recall the year, I'm sorry. 2013, 2014, something like that. Pardon if I sound under the weather. I have that stomach ache I had yesterday. It's just it was instead of talking at me, it's just the side of my gut's hurting. So I've had that going on all day, and from that having that same kind of pain before, I know that if I go to eat, it's just gonna have my stomach upset. What's up, John Rogers? Glad you made it. So well, maybe if I wait long enough, it won't do that. But then it started to come back, so I was just lying on the heating pad there until about an hour ago. Well, I had the heating pad on my stomach, I should say. Just to try to do something for that. And yeah, maybe I can do the food thing tomorrow. And we'll see. This is a 30 FPS show, so it should not be looking blurry the way it was earlier. Also, the camera, if you do notice, it is up two DVD cases higher. I'm just trying to get the same kind of shot I always used to have And before, like yesterday, it was kind of cutting off the top of my hat. And I could only sit up so straight. And I want more of my shirt to show. And just trying to do little tweaks, trying to improve it. Because I do watch these back. So it's as important to me that it plays smoothly and just looks as good as it can. I want it to be good for you. I want it to be good for me. Because I do enjoy watching my own show back. I'll say stuff that just cracks me up, or just the way I put it, and I LOL at it too. So I get it what folks see about it. So yeah, I've just got that because it can't sit exactly above the computer, so it is really off to the side by about just like a few, maybe 4 inches, but it's close enough. I'm looking at the like the edges more to see what it takes in, since I it's I'm still wrapping my head around the fact that I used to have those bars on the side and now I just don't. So it looks more like a real show, minus the poor picture quality. Oh, what's up? Lisa, she said, oh, that guy I let live with me has had stomach/digestive issues all day. So I'm being a lazy one, making sure the couch doesn't lose gravity. No, that's how it is. It's just lonesome loser. Yeah, tell your stomach that today, Satan. I know that's right. What's it go to? Glad you made it. Because it happened before, but it was after I was singing, and it hurt when I was singing, and I'm just used to playing through the pain, and then the next day I had it hurt on my side, it was down in my guts, and then it sort of like traveled across my stomach and went away in 2 hours, and then exactly a week later it did the exact same thing, and then the next week on a Monday it did the exact same thing. It never happened again. So I have not been singing. All I had yesterday was a sandwich. I don't sleep kind of any twisted, contorted kind of way. There's an echo. Why is my audio echoing on Streamlabs? The fun thing about finding things on Streamlabs is that it tells you what to do, and then you look for the settings in Streamlabs, and they are not there. I don't know if you're around, but I'm live right now. Check it out. There's an echo. If you can hear that, how do I fix that? I didn't mess with the audio at all. Yeah, Nikki, don't copyright me for playing my own show on my own show. Maybe she was holding on to the stroller over there, like with the grandmas with the rest of the family, and she was. It's not gonna the way it's gonna play back for me properly is on the TV. Or turn on the TV. We're doing absolutely everything different today. Is it because I have the mouse plugged in? Hold on. No mouse. Is there still an echo? Is there still an echo? Let me know if you hear an echo. I'm going to keep talking and it might be kind of repetitive. But that's just to see. What's up, Arden? That's just to see if there. Because I have to listen to this back too. And if it's in this episode, it's going to be in all the rest of the episodes. So it has to get fixed or I have to get a new camera. There's no other way around it. Still an echo. Let me know if you hear an echo. It's so bad. It's so fucking bad. Gotta cover up the TV. It sounds like I'm at the bottom of a 100-foot long tin can. It didn't sound like this at 5:03. Look it up. How do I fix this in Streamlabs? Help me out here. I'm changing the whole description of this whole fucking show. I can't have any goddamn thing. Fuck! Or find a camera that can do 60 FPS and send me the link. Now nobody's having a good time. Did that fix it? Did that really fix it? Changing the description? I believe you. I always believe the chat room. I'm just want to blow my brains out. I used to be able to sit this way before my back blew out. This is so retro. I kind of thought to plug in my the HDMI cable so I could watch my own stuff. My show. Sit this way before my back. See, now it's fine. This is so retro. That delay is hella. Oh my god. Okay. Still want to unalive myself. Maybe I should start filming myself setting up. Look at how exciting this is. Watch. I'm so glad you guys have time to waste on me because one day I won't be around anymore. So this means a lot. And I get to put my description back into my show. I don't make threats, I make promises. Nobody wants to know what I am capable of, including myself. I am afraid of myself. I've done things that I don't think a human should be capable of, but they happened and you can't take them back. And you can't you can't go around with regrets. You have to come to terms with absolutely everything that you've done at some point. I hate that Discord looks for updates every time. I don't care how up to date you are. When I want you to update, I will tell you. Sorry, I can't see the chat room. I've got to get the title. One of these days, I'm going to get through more than 2 episodes of Dark Shadows in one show. Save. Yeah, don't use the mouse. Maybe that was the problem. I just going back in the chat room to say hi to folks. Art and Dark Shadows review might be good with a spooky echo if it didn't sound like a tin can. I have tinnitus. I can't listen to that. Nobody else is going to listen to it. Oh, what's up, Zora? Glad you made it. I can threaten to drown my equipment, but I would have to. Yeah, stay dangerous, sweetheart. Humphrey Bogart, one to go to. Absolutely. That's I was gonna ask this yesterday. Am I scary? Because I get it in real life. I get it online. Is it the punctuation? I don't know what. Is it the only thing I can figure out is that if you're not conventionally attractive, you're demonized. But when I go online, people can't see me. That's why my avatar is not my face. So I don't understand why. Well, let me get my Twitch chat room up here in case anybody's in there. So I don't understand why it happens in real life and it happens online, even though I'm so different in both places. People can't see my punctuation when I speak in real life. So I don't understand why it's never one person, it's always folks ganging up on me. So I wonder what it is about a 5'3" chick with a bad back and bad vision that puts the fear of God into people so much that they have to team up and attack me both in real life and online. When I was a child, I'm an adult now. It always comes up. It comes up. I'm not saying it's an everyday thing, but it just blows my mind that a person can be conduct themselves so differently in two places and still come across the exact same problems. I don't even. Maybe it's the hat. Maybe it's the hat. People just imagine me with a hat and they get pissed off. Anybody can buy a hat. I just don't understand. I kind of try to be different online. Trying to be a better version of myself online. Like be more clear and stuff like that. It still happens. It's people don't know what I'm capable of. They don't know what I've done, so they don't have a reason to fear me for things I know I can do. It's a chilling vibe. I realize I don't type like other people. It is the very first time I got into a chat room, 10 years ago. I was in chat rooms before, but, everybody just comments, put punctuation. That's fine. There's no, you don't have to type the way people do in a book, but I like to do that. I like to type the way I write stories. I like complete sentences. I love punctuation. I wish I knew when to use a semicolon more. I figured out what an Oxford comma is, and we were like this. I never stopped using it. I love throwing that extra comma in there. I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to, writing. That must put people off. It must be the proper capitalization and punctuation. I don't know what it is. Is it? I'm not necessarily like being like extra. Not trying to be mean to folks online. Other like teasing your friends. That's different. You can call your friend a dick and they can call you a dick back. That's okay. But yeah, like I'm not like harassing strangers or nothing like that. Lisa, yeah, my standard is fuck them. Yeah, you can't like I don't let it bother. I don't let it keep me up at night. Oh, it's somebody I don't know and I don't care about doesn't like me, or so if you can't care about people who don't care about you, so that's just gonna make you feel sick inside. So I don't do that. I know better. What's up, Patrick? Glad you made it. Um, NT, yeah, glad you're here. Demons suck, but we can learn from those experiences. Remember, read this shirt. Yeah, it's you. I do realize a lot of like negativity is just coming from a place of like lies and just not understanding. Whereas they just need to let like truth into their lives, and that would not be the case. Want to go to eat shoots and leaves, like bamboo shoots. So I just wonder exactly what it is. Should I have always? I should have not told anybody I was a girl. I should have just used like a dude avatar and like, yo, this is Nikki. I don't have to. I tried to work on my Negan impression before, but I don't think my voice can go that deep. Uh, I don't. It's kind of in a way it's kind of funny, but it's also kind of sad in a way. Like really, I'm your big bad me. Okay, don't cast me in a role I'm best at. Oh, went to go to bamboo and shotguns. Damn straight. I held a shotgun once. I thought it was gonna be heavy, but it really wasn't. That was fun. Those things are loud. Yeah, I don't. It's so weird. Yeah, ladies, let that be a lesson to you. If you go online, either if you're not a hot chick, either play a hot chick online or tell everybody you're a guy. Otherwise, if you're not fuckable, then you're just a monster and you're just gonna catch it for not being pretty. So yeah, do yourself a favor and lie. It's a shtick. It's a routine. It's a bit. You don't have to be the exact. I mean, some people can be exactly the same online. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's also nothing wrong with, like keeping things to yourself. It's okay to be completely anonymous. That's what we used to tell people to, don't put personal information online. And then you go to Twitter and look in those bios, and it's just like these rants, or Tumblr bios are nothing but yeah, just all these like traumas and like trigger warnings and just hang-ups they have, and like minors do not interact, which just probably means they're a pervert because normal people don't have to say that. And then people make fun of that fact. You go onto Tumblr and their whole little bio thing, it says mental disease, comma, mental disease, comma, mental disease, comma. So they get it. People just TMI. So yeah, nobody's required um to tell the truth online. Nobody has to know. You're allowed to keep secrets. Lisa says they're called duck/geese eliminators. Jen Riders, I need a shotgun. Hell yeah, I want one too. Just something, more lightweight. I can't really be lifting huge. Like I knew how to hold one before I actually used one. I was at somebody's house and they just had a shotgun, and just like I know to be safe about around weapons. I didn't know if they did, so I was really like I was ready to leave if somebody started like pointing. It was wild, but it was very, for being around younger folks, it was very like chill. So I'm like, hey, you get it in your shoulder and pull. I wasn't pointing at anybody. I was just practicing. It's like, hey, cool. I'm getting a feel for this. Didn't think. I wonder why they had a shotgun in their house. Just I wasn't finger on the trigger or nothing. Just don't always treat every gun as if it's loaded. John Rogers, yeah, can't duck hunt with an AR-15. Probably don't want to have a semi-automatic assault rifle out there if you want to like eat some of the duck. Oh, which one's Cardi B? Uh, I'm not up on the new singers. They all kind of see the same. One of them is named after. Yeah, shotgun is good home self defense. Yeah, that's kind of what I want one. I mean, I've got smaller stuff, but if you want to be like scary or like standing there, is it like I don't know anything about this person singing, but it Charlie X C X. It's one of those names where it sounds like sex, but they're trying to like not say that word, like the Britney Spears song "If You Seek Amy." It sounds one way. It is called "If You Seek Amy," but to listen to it in context when she's singing it, it's more like begging to FUCK me. That was a fun song to listen to the first time. Like, what is she? No, she didn't just say. Wait, she's gonna say it again in the next. She's really saying that. Oh, Britney Spears said. So that's just one of those little things like that. Big Hero 6. If you're not paying attention, it sounds like pick your own sex. I found that out on my own. If you have bad hearing, have fun with it. Sometimes things sound like dirty words, but then you hear something and you're like, what? Who's gonna pick their own sex? I know people like think they can nowadays, and then I turn around and look at the TV and they're talking about Big Hero 6, which I don't really care about, so I don't know why it was up on my TV, but I'm like, that's why that title makes no sense, because it's supposed to mush together and sound like pick your own sex. I don't know what happens in that movie. I don't want to know now that I figured that out. Oh, hell no. So how's the audio? Is it tinny? Was it doing what it was doing at the start of the show? Because I'm really about to do this review. And I was having a good day until I watched my last show and saw the dropped frames. So I really don't want to get through this review and then have to get bummed out because the audio was bad. I'm taking you guys' word for it that it's okay. So I believe the chat room. You guys know what you're talking about. Yeah, how many Frenchmen can't be wrong? Lisa Gray having a rare do nothing day. It's feeling rather strange, but good. Yeah, sometimes you just need to like change up your routine and just not do the same things as. I mean, like still eat breakfast, take a shower, and all that, but just like no, I'm gonna go for a walk at 1 o'clock instead of 6 o'clock. Just mix it up. Gonna see different things out there. Sometimes you try things different, everything goes wrong. It's like, I guess this was not the right day for it, but sometimes you try different stuff. Like have ice cream for breakfast one day. It's not going to kill you. And then you can have your breakfast food for dinner. Why not? Again, it's you don't do it every day. You probably don't want to do it every week. You don't want your body to get used to bad habits, but just do it. Just try it one day. What if all you had in the house was ice cream? Oh, Arden says, all my lib friends think AR means assault rifle. It's R, like a pirate. They would want to use that kind of weapon. John Rogers says, that reminds me, I have to take one of my one pistol out of the drawer. I put it away when they delivered my mattress. Yeah, they go to take the old mattress, clunk, clunk, clunk. It's like, sorry, home defense. You shoveling these weapons in the weapon drawer. Patrick, everything looks good and sounds good. All right, yeah, if it sounds good, yeah, 5 hours ahead, it's got to sound good in this time zone. Cool. If not, I'll find out the hard way. Elisa Gray saying, my stupid liberal stepson is the same. He grumbles when I go out and shoot some forest chicken or bunnies. So annoying he is. Like, well, like you eat your salad and starve with no protein, and we'll be over here with our. I guess you can't really hunt a moose. Really, it's the size of like an Escalade. Maybe bigger. I don't know. I never measured. I don't want to get close enough to either one to measure them. Now, since this is a soap opera, everything, usually there are not big events happening. Everything sort of happens slowly, builds up, and then you get some surprises. Maybe those are the Friday shows. I don't know. I don't want to get that rhythm in my head, thinking, oh, this is a Monday show, this is a Thursday show, oh, it's a Friday show. That means it. I don't want. I just kind of want to like experience the show, just one episode at a time in order. And I'm glad the dates are there. That's very important. But I don't need to be unless I'm one day in the future when you're not alive anymore, you can do whatever you want, and that's when I will go back in time and like go and experience Dark Shadows as it is. But it's okay to do it this way, and any way you want to experience it is fine. That's just a premiere. That's not a live thing. But so far, I'll be starting episode 4. So far, all that's really happened is it's still the first day. Victoria Winters got to Collinwood. Carolyn gave her a tour around so she can just see this big old place. Had one door kind of like creak open and creep her out, like, wait, didn't I lock that? Carolyn's just like, get used to it. And this fellow Burke Devlin is back in town, and everybody feels some kind of way about it. They're either like, oh, he's back, or they're super nervous about it. And then folks have to get together and talk. Alright, I hope they go to the Blue Whale. I hope so. If you don't see that place for a while, you start to notice it. I forget when it was. It's way down the line. I'm like, you know what I haven't seen for a while? And then a little while later, like, they go there. That happened to me a lot. I would think, hey, I haven't seen this actor in a while, then they would be in the next scene. Or like, hey, this person hasn't been on the show in a minute. That's too bad. I kind of miss seeing them. And then they're in the next episodes. So this is episode 4. We are still on the same night. Victoria got there at night. We have not seen the sun at all yet. Still the same evening. Don't quite know the exact time, but that's okay. Kind of wish I could set this here and then read, but maybe that would be too bright. That's all right. Well, we open up. We're at Collinwood. It usually starts with a shot of Collinwood, and then they'll show up somewhere else if we're somewhere else. But that's where we are. We're in Victoria Winter's bedroom, and she's just sitting there chilling, reading, all done up for bed, minding her own business. But she hears something, that there's a creak outside the door, like maybe somebody stepped on the floorboard right near it, and it's quiet, so it's enough for her to turn her head and notice. And she already thinks the house is spooky from the one door just opening up on its own, and you got portraits everywhere, so it feels like you have eyes looking at you all of the time in every room. They're not following you, but you still have eyes on you, so it's a big quiet place. She's a little bit creeped out, but she comes off like she's nice, but that she's tough. So like something a little bit creepy. She's not gonna be running scared to find somebody else. But we see outside who it is. It's Roger Collins. And I don't know why. He's got his hand on the knob like he's going to turn it and go inside. And as soon as he does, Liz is right there like, what are you doing at that door? Get downstairs now. She needs to talk to him. It's serious. Never alone, NT. Yeah, not in that house. Oh, what's up, Dandy? Glad you made it. So Liz is pissed. New pen. I can't find. I dropped my other pen right here. It should be there. Maybe I didn't move the stuff around enough. I cannot find it. Maybe it fell into a mini black hole. Those exist. It's okay. It was running out anyway. Patrick says to Arden to please give my best to Wally. Yeah, what's up to Wally if he's around? Danny said just ended. Drunk pee just ended. I'm late. Oh no, you're okay. I had some technical difficulties at the beginning. It was a wreck. It should be clear now. Oh, is Drunk P a person? John Rogers says he has a great show. So we're down in the living room. First thing Roger does is go to the wet bar and pour himself a drink, which just standard for him walking through that door. Now Liz, it's later on in the evening. Everybody's dressed for bed. So Liz, she's got her hair down. She's got shorter length hair, and again, don't use my hair as an example because it's passed away. But like this thick curly. I would imagine her hair is dark brown because these episodes are black and white. To just glam evening robe, very fitted. But she's mad at Roger. She sort of not maybe it's because it was the 60s, you really couldn't imply things that we can apply now, so you kind of have to read below the surface and then maybe read below that a little bit to, like, why would people act that way? Oh, maybe it's because. But Liz says that Victoria is here to care for your son, not you. And Roger's, I just wanted to talk to her. Talk to her, knock on her door if you want to talk to her. So I don't know. We don't know too much about Roger yet, but that's a little bit creepy, guy. Arden said, I think Willie Fix-It retweets Drunk Pinata. Oh, you guys have mentioned Drunk Pinata before. Is he drunk? I hope he's not an alcoholic. Or if he is just a functioning alcoholic. Yeah, one of the best features of Dark Shadows is the fashion. One thing I don't understand, it's the undergarments, is I guess they must have been built differently because a girl's chest just does not look the way a modern girl's chest does. It's almost like you've got, I want to get, it's almost like you can take something flat like this across and put some fabric over it. It's like every girl's chest is like this straight line across, and then the rest of whatever shape she might have. Art, this is Dark Shadows from 1966. This particular episode aired on June 30th, 1966. So not too long ago, just 59 years. Well, the reason Roger was there twisting the knob was he heard that Burke Devlin's back in town, and he was on the same train as Victoria, and Burke might have said something. But Liz does not want Victoria involved with any of this. And she just thinks, well, Burke's just back in town because he's from Collinsport. He just came back home. That's all it is to her. And then Roger kind of goes off about, oh, he didn't want anybody brought to Collinwood. And then he kind of gets determined. It's like, well, I won't wait for Burke Devlin to come to me. So he's got a plan in his head. We don't know what it is, but he's determined about something. Aren't corsets? The thing with the corsets is you'll notice this when they go back in time. Sorry, spoilers that they go back in time, but yes, it does look like the women are wearing corsets. However, you will notice that every single last person, and even on the modern clothing, has a zipper on the back. So there I was looking up when was the zipper invented. I know it's you don't wear. I know you just have to zip up the actresses. That's why it's there. But it's so funny to put yourself in reality and realize wait, like from the front it's fine, but then you got two actors talking. You see a girl from the back, and it's a zipper, and I'm like, why do you need all this stuff up here if you're zipped up the? No, it's TV. That's not. So it's forgivable. It's forgivable. John Rogers said, I seen a Dark Shadows page on Facebook. There are some really good Dark Shadows pages. There's actually one. It was sent to me. I forget if I joined it. I want to say it's called like the lovely Victoria Winters or Miss Victoria. I think it has the word lovely in there somewhere. Despite the name, it does cover the whole show. And then there's another one called it's the John Carlin fan page or fan group. That one is more specifically just about himself or the man himself. He's not posting on it. Some pages do kind of like they say they're about Dark Shadows, but then you look at the posts and they're just focusing on a few characters. So unless you really like those few characters, it's just don't go to Facebook a lot. I just went back there to steal pictures. That's it. Oh, yeah, so funny. I never noticed the zippers yet. Take a look for it because you're not going to notice really right away. But two girls are talking. You see one from the back, and they're like, "Wait, why is there why would the dress have an up and down line?" That's a zipper. It's all right. I understand. Well, once you notice it, you can't unsee it. Yeah, so Liz doesn't want Victoria involved in any of this Burke Devlin stuff, and Roger doesn't want to just sit back and let Burke come at him. And then in comes Carolyn. She was eavesdropping. That's a bad habit. But she heard Roger say that Burke's trying to kill him. And she also heard that name from Victoria earlier. And she said Roger freaked out when Victoria had said that Burke Devlin gave her a ride from the train station. And yeah, Liz, you right away that they're just trying to shut her down. And she says it's not Carolyn's business. And Carolyn's like, well, it is my business if somebody's trying to kill my uncle. And Roger calls, his pet name for Carolyn is Kitten. And, they're just trying to calm her down, they're just trying to gaslight her, like, oh, no, you didn't hear that, go to bed kind of a thing. And it's just totally outside of the show. This is just my own observation. Like, Carolyn loves her uncle the same way I love my dad. Just completely over the moon about that guy. But then Carolyn asked who Burke Devlin even is, because the only time she heard that name was when Victoria asked if she had heard that name before, and she hadn't. She's met him at the Blue Whale, but she didn't know that was him. That's the guy that broke up the fight that Joe started. So Liz is just like, oh, Burke, he's just a man that we used to know, and he's not here to hurt anyone. But Roger's still on the warpath. He wants to speak to Victoria right now. Doesn't care about the time. This goes off on him. Watch this scene. She is such a good actress. She will do these like little, like she'll close the door and then she'll turn in such a way that her arm just swings out. It's so subtly graceful. I love to watch this woman move around and just act and just the emphasis she uses on words. Joan Bennett, I really want to get into more of her stuff. I love this chick. Oh my God. Just always put together. But she goes off on Roger. She's like, you're acting like this because of one man. One man. Just because this dude came to town. And then she starts pointing at all of the portraits in the room. There's Isaac Collins. He's the one. Hold on. Isaac Collins is the portrait that's to the right of the windows. And then Jeremiah Collins, that's the picture that is above the fireplace. Theodore Collins, there's this little tiny picture that's just kind of on the wall. You really don't see too well that that's Theodore. And then Benjamin Collins, there's a portrait that's above the telephone. We don't see in that shot, but that's where she's pointing at. So she's pointing at all the portraits. There's Isaac, Jeremiah, Theodore, Benjamin. How would they have handled this situation? Just really giving it to Roger. She's laying into him. And Roger's just like, I'm different. He is. He's a different kind of dude. So we're back in Victoria's room, and Carolyn, she's just talking about how nice Roger is, and he's just had a rough with that wife of his and his son. First time his wife has ever come up. And Victoria's like, oh, I thought Roger's wife was dead. And Carolyn's like, yeah, well, actually, Uncle Roger just wants to ask you some questions. And he's really a nice guy. She's really insistent on it. And Vicky's like, yes, I know. He's a nice guy. Yeah. Someone says that it is almost midnight, so that's where we're at still. Yeah, Carolyn says Roger wouldn't hurt a fly, and he's glad Victoria is at Collinwood. So Vicky does go downstairs in the living room. Liz is asking her about Burke Devlin, and Victoria's like, well, I mixed with Victoria. It's the same chick. There's nobody else on that show is going to have the same name. I don't even think they have the same initials. So if I use one or the other, it's okay. Like, even the character herself doesn't mind. But yeah, Vicky's like, well, it's she met Burke Devlin at the train station, told him she was going to Collinwood. Uh, he didn't say why he was back. That's really all that's they were not together for a long time talking. And that's good enough for Liz. She's cool with it. That's all she needs to hear. But Roger has more questions. And he's being like very like you can tell when this man turns on the charm. Like now he's smiling, and he's got offers her a drink. She's like, no, I'm good. And then Roger, he pours himself a drink and he sits down and he gets a little bit creepy. Arn says, probably most people don't know about Dark Shadows. Like, as popular as it is, that there's still, it was a generation or two ahead of me. And I had to find out, just through friends later on. Arden says to Dandy, while he doesn't know anything about Dark Shadows, so he just dips in and out of the chat. Aw. Lisa said, I just thought of John Todd Collins, the occultist who claimed to be from a witchcraft family. Saw some documentary about it years ago about him. Oh. And Dandy says he only remembers Dark Shadows from when he was a kid. Oh, that is so cool. I watched the beginning of those episodes and I think, oh man, those kids running home would have missed this. I wonder what time everybody ran in the door. That's how you get kids healthy. You put something good on TV. I mean, like, the world's not the same way, but that gets them to run home. Dandy said, is there a 90s remake? I know there was a remake. There was a pilot from 2004, but when was the 90s remake? Was there anybody, I would say any big names, but probably not. And then, of course, there's the movie from 2012, the Tim Burton film, which was, just consider it separate. And I did pay to see it in 3D, and it was really only 3D for a scene that really didn't even need to be in the movie. That's okay, they got their money from me. It might be free on YouTube right now, like free with ads to watch. And then if you do want to watch Dark Shadows itself, I've got the link in the description for the channel and for the show. That's on Tubi. That's free. But yeah, Roger sits down across from Victoria, and he might even have his legs crossed. Not like that matters, but he's just like super smug, super comfortable. a little bit creepy. Talking about asking if she know, like, oh well, like, you're kind of young, but maybe you don't know about there's something about how pain can precede pleasure. Like, or is she too young to know about that yet? Like, damn, dude. I don't know where that line of questioning came from, but he mentions that she will be, Victoria will be meeting his son tomorrow. And then Roger accuses her. He says she's being less than honest about her time with Burke. And Victoria's offended. And Roger's like, Roger just knows that Burke must have said something about the Collins family when she said she was going to work at Collinswood. Or Collinwood, pardon me. And then he says Burke Devlin is dangerous. Now, Victoria had bad vibes from Burke when he spoke about the Collins family, but he tried to talk her out of going to even work at Collinwood. He was one of those people who told her to get back on the train and go back to where she came from. And Roger just grills her about that whole experience. She took the train because it was cheaper than flying to Bangor. That's it. That's why she was on the train. And then Roger's like, well, why would Burke take a train from New York? He's rich. So did he take the train because you were on it? Victoria's like, how am I supposed to know that? He is being such a dick. And Roger's like, Victoria's the first stranger in Collinwood in 18 years, and just so happened to arrive on the same train as Burke Devlin. And again, Victoria, she insists she does not know who this guy is. And she gets upset that she's being accused of being dishonest. And then she says, well, I think I want to go to bed and get some sleep because I might want to take that early train in the morning. Like she's had enough. That's her limit. She's just been sitting there accused of being dishonest and everything under the sun. She can't take it anymore. And she says something. And leaves. Then the clock chimes midnight. And for the sake of avoiding confusion, we are using the same time that everybody else uses, not my time. So midnight means it's the next day. All of that was day one. We're just starting day two. Oh, Wally, what's up? Glad you made it. I said in 1966, that's when West Ham won the World Cup. That's why I'm a supporter. Oh, Lisa Gray says, I remember watching it when we'd fly to Anchorage. It was always a highlight. Nome didn't have television until she was a teenager. Dude, you must have done a lot of book reading. Wow. And I want my Jetsons flying, whatever it's called now. I really thought as a kid, I thought the Jetsons took place in the future and the Flintstones took place in the past, and they were just somehow able to film it and show them both to us. I might still think that. I don't know. I haven't watched them as an adult. So now we're in the Collinwood foyer. We got there's a grandfather clock there, and they're good about filming around it. It's set up in such a way where you can film the actors, and we don't have to see the clock. But so like they will specifically show us that, so we will know the time. So if they're not putting it in the shot, we're just not meant to know what it is. But sometimes they do focus right on that clock. So it's 2 a.m. It's the same night, but it's technically day two. And Victoria, she's in her bedroom and she's sleeping, but she's woken up by some crying. Just some woman crying somewhere, not in her room, outside the door. So she gets up, she goes down the hall, downstairs through the foyer, knocks on the living room door because it's got those two double doors that shut. As soon as she does, the crying stops. She goes inside, peeking around, nobody in there. It's just weird. So okay, there's nothing else to do down here. She turns around to go upstairs, but kind of stops because up sort of it's like there's a door, and then you walk out a ways, and then there's the steps going down. So up in the corner, it gets a little bit dark, but there's something standing there, so something short, and not exactly as tall as an adult. And we see that it's this, this male child. We can just assume it's David Collins. That's the only, child we've heard about on the show. Who else would it be? But he's just standing up there, and he kind of walks down the stairs slowly. He's not smiling or nothing, and Victoria's just trying to be nice, and she smiles and says she's happy to meet him. And David gets down to the bottom of the stairs, just looks right at her, and I hate you. And that's the end of that night. Credits roll. All the ladies are nice to Victoria, and all the guys are mean. I noticed. Okay, even though Maggie Evans did call her a jerk, but that's they basically got along. Other than that, John Rogers, there actually was a Collins family it was based on. I've heard that. I got to look into that because I know that must be true. I saw something on YouTube. It was something about like a Collinswood fire, and the thumbnail is not Dark Shadows related. So I'm like, what? I click on it. What it was? This is something I knew about it. It's something in Ohio, Cleveland ways, like early 1900s. A really really sad story about there was a like an explosion or a fire in a school, and just that there were not fire escapes the way we know them today. All these scared children trying to funnel out of like one or two doors. It was not a good time. Like lots of families lost lots of children, and just like the stories this guy told about what happened with one girl. Like he was crying. I was getting emotional. I'm still traumatized. I want to say that's the school burning down that the Gore orphanage might be based on, roughly around there. But the fact it said Collinwood, I'm like, or no, it said Collinsport, and that's what threw me off because that's a fictional town. It's not in Ohio, but it's just that's what it was called back then. It's called something different now, and it wasn't clickbait or anything like that. Arden says, "Wow, I didn't know that. I hope they had no vampires." At John Rogers, LOL. Yeah. This is cute. This is fun. You will not see this on Tubi. This is I bought the DVD box set because I'm just that obsessed. Addictions like that. So you're not going to see this on Tubi. You're just going to see this on the DVD box set. But they show like a chalkboard with the filming date and the premiere date and the number of the episode. Now this is episode 5. It's July 1st, 1966, but the clapboard says June 31st, 1966. The guy say there's somebody saying it. He says it correctly, but you can see kind of July. That was cute. Oh, Lisa Gray says supposedly that John Todd Collins claimed he was part of the family, part of that family, and their family traced back to the Mayflower. I believe it. If the Collinses can trace themselves back to England, I don't see why that couldn't be a thing. I have to look into that. John Todd Collins. Danny, yeah, it turns out Gore Orphanage was a myth, but there was a big nursing home fire in Norwalk way back. Yeah, it's just some like tragedies that were just sort of in the area got placed on a place in Gore Orphanage, which was just it wasn't an orphanage. It maybe just have been like a foundation of a Like there's really nothing there but a hole in the ground. Last time I was there, almost 20 years ago. Well, yeah, episodes are like 20 minutes each, but there are hundreds of them. Yeah, if you're not taking notes on Dark Shadows and just watching them all the way through on Tubi, you can skip the intro. You don't have to watch the credits. So, yeah, it would be about 20 minutes. And they go by so fast, you won't notice it. You really won't notice it. Jen Rogers says, to Lisa, he says, I saw paperwork showing my relatives came over on the Mayflower. That's intense. That is cool that people can trace their history back like that. Like, I'm lucky I have parents, and only one of them is still breathing air. So, like, I wouldn't know where to, I don't have, like, online, I don't have, like, grandparents or anything like that. Dan, yeah, Gore Road, what a name. Yeah, you're driving and you're like, ew. You have to drive past the cemetery on the other side of the road, too. Anyway, episode 5. We're still on the second day. Ooh, is it daytime? Yeah, it is daytime. Victoria Winters, we're in her room. She's got her bag out. She is ready to go. Carolyn comes in. She's wearing that little cameo. And she's bummed out seeing that luggage there. She really thought Vicky was going to be her friend. And she really wants her to stay and meet David. And Vicky's like, oh, I did. And then right outside the door was David Collins. He was eavesdropping. You will find he does that a lot. But he goes in Victoria's room. And this was after Victoria and Carolyn leave the room. David comes in, if I didn't say that. He just sort of like just kind of not really focus on anything. He just says the word mother. And then he goes over to Victoria's bag. She has her initials on the bag, and he just like starts scratching. He was like punching it, and he starts scratching the initials off of it. Super anger issues, seems like. New location. This is the kitchen in Collinwood. It's the probably like the brightest, cheeriest room in the whole house. It just looks like a normal kitchen. And then you got these big windows. You really can't see out of them, but they have a whole bunch of plants just stacked up, all different kinds. I don't know plants, so I don't know if these are just like herbs for food. I don't know if these are little plants that they're just gonna like set around the house later, and they're giving them sun now. I don't have a green thumb, but it's nice to see that kind of life in the shot and real stuff like real food and coffee pots and silverware and jam. And one thing I do look out for is actors eating. I got really into that about 10 years ago. So, like, sometimes, like cup taking a sip, it's not real. Sometimes they're really eating. So they have real food. Like they might just push it around their plate and, like they go to eat and then the character has something to say so the actor doesn't have to eat. I watch that stuff. Watch somebody take a sip from a cup and then like the camera's kind of high so they set it down and you can see into the cup and there's nothing in it. Stuff like that. I don't know if they did that on purpose, but there's even some like you'll see like some name brand stuff in some of the shots in the kitchen. Maybe not this episode, but we do go back there. But Victoria is telling Carolyn about what David said, the whole I hate you thing, and how Roger was acting last night with accusing her of being dishonest. And she mentioned that she heard some lady crying in the middle of the night. And Roger comes in with the mail. And there's a letter for Victoria, hands it to her. Oh, good morning, Miss Winters. Oh, good morning. Just being polite. And he's super cheerful. And he apologizes for the way he acted last night. And she accepts. And but hasn't seen David this morning. Oh, Patrick, yeah, I was live yesterday. Please do forgive all of the dropped frames. This episode better not be doing that. I'm really at my wits' end with everything, including my technology. So if you can power through that and smash the like, more power to you. Like, I had fun listening to it. I was laughing at certain points. I had a good time, but when I had to like look up and just watch myself still for so long, and then be over here, like, what year is it? Smells like somebody out there doesn't know how to cook with garlic. But Victoria asks if Roger heard crying last night, and he says, "Oh, you must have dreamed it." All right. Oh, Wily World. I know Arden is watching. Want to hear the creepy music? Yeah, it does. It's got its own little spooky theme. Imagine hearing that in the middle of the afternoon too. That's when the show would come on. Oh, B champ, glad you made it. Yeah, camera's good tonight, not freezing. Yeah, like the audio was super tinny, so that was not good. But I don't know. I unplugged the mouse. Everybody said it was fine. I trust the chat room. That might just be a premiere. That's nothing live. That's nothing live. Lisa, yeah, garlic scent while you do this. Yeah, keeping the vampires away. So Victoria goes back up to her room, and continuity error. Now the initials are back on the luggage. I don't know how they must have just filmed it out of order, but that's the way it was. No, Vicky's not back up in her room. We're up in her room. David's in there. There are those initials back on the luggage. But he's opened up these drawers and he's just grabbing whatever and just tossing it inside. Like the worst packing job you ever saw. He doesn't care. He's just throwing clothes in there. Wants her out. Yeah, back in the kitchen, there's plants in front of the windows, behind the table. It's just weird to see greenery in that house. Oh, what's up, Bad Monkey? But Carolyn's upset that Victoria wants to leave, and it calls her a chicken. And Victoria's like, yeah, maybe I am. But Carolyn's like, why come up all here? Why come all the way up here just to spend one night? And Victoria's like, well, it was the scariest night of my life. And besides, Carolyn told her to leave last night. So, WTF? And Carolyn's just kind of getting emotional, to saying she'll go nuts without somebody to talk to. And Victoria gets to go home to a normal family. So Victoria shows Carolyn the letter that she just got from the foundling home. Foundling home it's like an orphanage, an orphanarium. That's just their terminology for it in the universe. John Rogers, my packing sucks. LOL. Yeah. Roll up all your clothes, and then as soon as you get anywhere, you have to hang up everything so it doesn't wrinkle. So it's hassle, but you want to look good while you're traveling. And I hate folding clothes with a passion, so it's got to be done. So Vicky shows Carolyn this letter from the foundling home. She worked there because she grew up there. So her family, Victoria's family, was a cardboard box with a note. And Carolyn didn't know that. All she knew was that she had come from New York and she worked in a foundling home. She didn't realize that Victoria was an orphan, so she just, she didn't know. And Victoria is saying she came to Collinsport looking for answers because the foundling home was sent that $50 in cash every month from the time she was 2 until she turned 16. The letters were postmarked from Bangor, Maine. And she doesn't know why Liz offered her the job. She'd never heard of Liz or Collinsport. And everybody thought she was crazy to even go there. And Victoria says, "Don't envy me because you know who you are." She handles it well. But back up in Victoria's bedroom, David is still packing her suitcase, just throwing clothes in there. Just wants her the hell out. Oh, right. So Victoria, it seems like she's still like thinking about whether or not she's going to leave or stay. So she goes outside, goes for a walk, goes over to Widow's Hill. So we get to see that during the daytime now. It's yeah, you do have to realize there's a cliff at the edge, but other than that, it's kind of pleasant out there if you don't mind the sudden drop off. And she's just out there by herself, minding her own business, but some dude just comes wandering along. And he's not exactly direct. He does kind of come off. He's just middle-aged guy. Um, you can tell he's ginger. I can tell he's ginger. It just kind of comes off like this romantic philosopher, poetic type of dude. And, it knows she's not from around there, and it tells her to go home. You don't want to be in Collinswood, Collinsport. You don't want nothing to do with this town. It's what she hears from everybody. Now, I'm pointing this out now because it'll come up later. The actor's name is Mark Allen. So this guy, we don't know who this is, but he knows that Victoria, how she gotten into town, and tells her to tell Roger Collins that Sam was at Widow's Hill. He goes on to call Collinwood a house of tears. And Victoria asks why. And Sam tells her about Josette Collins. She was from France. Collinwood was built for her, but the townspeople hated her because that she was a stranger. And then the Collins family hated her because she was different. So she just cried herself to sleep every night. And even the house hated her, according to Sam. So one day she came up to Widow's Hill and jumped. And he says you can hear her crying at night. But Victoria says that's impossible, that she does not believe in ghosts. And Sam says that Liz haunts Collinwood like a ghost for 18 years and just leaves. He just, wherever he came from, that's where he wandered off to. And Victoria's just standing there. Oh, Beach App are talking about makes me want to watch the movie Blues Brothers. I haven't seen that in so long. It's so good. Daddy, my house hates me. I feel her pain. Yeah. Isn't there a movie about like these folks buying a house and it's just a mess? Pardon, yeah, the alternate timeline is weird. I can't wait to go through that and try to make sense of that. You really do have to consider some of this stuff just the way you would have to write a really good fan fiction to make this stuff mesh together, but on its own, when the show says it's a different timeline, it really is, because you'll have actors playing different people, or it's just like a variation on the way they were in another timeline. Sometimes it's the same people. but they just took a few people, and now they're in a different timeline, so they have to deal with all this other weirdness while they're basically the same. Spoilers. Lots of stuff happens in the show. It was 5 years long and aired 1245 episodes. So after that weird encounter over there on Widow's Hill, we're back in the kitchen. Carolyn is ironing. It's so funny to see like a very rich person having to. I mean, like Liz said, that they have to do for themselves. It's just funny to like see the emotions. And Victoria she does not know about Liz. So Carolyn tells her that Liz has been at Collinwood since 6 months before she was born, because her dad left. So that's why Carolyn's so on about her Uncle Roger, because her dad's not in the picture. So that sucks. But Liz is just, they're waiting for him to come back. That's what Carolyn says. That does explain why she is so on about Roger. And she gets upset, and Victoria just goes to pack. Just bringing up the fact that her dad is not around sets her off. So Carolyn is just done talking for a minute, and Victoria just leaves her down there in the kitchen. It's a sore subject. It's understandable. Now, at the before Victoria can get back to her room in the hallway, up comes running Carolyn. Like, wait, wait, wait! She just made a connection that her dad has been gone for 18 years. At the same time, the money was going to the foundling home, so she thinks it's worth looking into. And Victoria's just like, no. So Victoria goes into her room. There stands David, and he's holding a letter, a note, piece of paper, and he keeps repeating, "Her name is Victoria. I cannot take care of her." And he balls up the letter, tosses it on the floor, and says the widows want Victoria to leave, and no one listens to him, and then he runs out of the room. Total prick. So that was the note that Victoria mentioned earlier. She was just found with a note. Just said her name is Victoria. I cannot take care of her. It didn't even have a last name. She was named after the season during which she was found. That's why she's Winters. Kind of like the naming schemes for Game of Thrones ish. Later on, we do have a canonical birthday for her, but that's all we know right now. Yeah, the original Blues Brothers. Yeah, the only Blues Brothers from what, 1980? Oh, Beechap didn't enjoy the sequel. Yeah, oh, I couldn't even tell you who's in that. Later, Carolyn comes in. She sees David's, packing job. Just like suitcase open, all kind of clothing just tossed in, like it exploded. But she kind of admits she's like her idea trying to connect her dad with the money that was sent for Victoria was just her, yeah, trying to hold on to a friend. And Victoria says she would be a fool if she decides to stay. So she decides to stay. It's just that fast. It's right at the end of the episode. Like, zero logic. Okay. I guess I'm staying. So good. Stay on. We want you here. And then there was another guy telling her to leave Collinsport. So whether that's Sam up on the hill. Everybody acts like it's so mysterious and spooky living in this town. I think they're just bored because it's a quiet place. Oh, I don't know the Rubber Biscuit song. That's a new one on me, Lisa. Was there? I haven't seen Blues Brothers in so long. I know there's music in it, but I can't remember. It has the best name for a hair salon ever. The Curl Up and Dye, DYE. Brilliant. 10 out of 10 with rice. So we're on to episode 6. This is on the 4th of July, July 4th, 1966. Still on the second day in a new location. You thought the kitchen was nice and sunny and bright. Now we're in the Collinwood basement. It's like a regular basement. It's stuff made out of stone, things scattered about, maybe a little bit of cobwebs. Off to the side, there's some door that's closed. It's crates, random stuff around. Nothing spectacular. But in the voiceover in the beginning, Victoria's talking about she thinks she'll find answers about her past, and she can't leave even if she's scared. So she's in the basement because she's looking for David. And while she's down there, there's some you just footsteps. Somebody's coming down the stairs after her, and not chasing her, but just also going to the basement. And she turns around and looks, and it's some older gentleman, kind of a thin dude, maybe like 50s, up there, maybe more. But Victoria happened to be standing by that door that I mentioned, so he goes over there to check it. And he's real suspicious of her, just looking her up and down, like, what are you doing here? Ask who she is, grabs her arm, because she's not supposed to be down there. So Victoria kind of freaks out, but then Liz just happens to be down there, and she yells at the dude to not yell, but just tells the dude to let go of her. Calls him Matthew. This guy works for her. He says that Victoria was snooping by the locked door. And Liz is just like, well, that's a storeroom. It's always locked. And tells Matthew that Victoria lives with them from now on. I just accept it, man. Now Liz goes and makes sure the door's locked herself, jiggles the handle. And then she kind of looks around another area and like hiding in one of those crates. There was David, so Victoria was right to be looking for him down there. But Liz tells him that he's not to come down there. And David's like, are you going to beat me? His father would. Liz is like, no, I'm not going to do that. Your father would never hurt you. Your father would never beat you. And he gives him a hug. She's very nice to David. She really does treat him like a son. Like she treats him better than his father treats him. John Rogers says, I bought a 93 LeBaron convertible years ago. When I was replacing the top, I found a Blues Brothers CD in the quarter panel. Whoa. Arden, yeah, that door is always locked except for twice. Danny did some cleaning in my basement today. Glad I didn't run into anyone. Yeah. Did the caretaker come down there and give you was there like a child hiding down there and a governess? But back up in the living room, there's Matthew Morgan. He's messing with the fireplace. And Victoria walks in and she just both kind of notice each other and kind of look away doing something else and very coldly introduce each other. It's a dude says Morgan, Matthew, and Victoria's like Winters, Victoria. So say Matthew Morgan, Eminem, does no rapping. And he just, Matthew is just saying that Liz does not like people down in that basement. And Victoria just says, like, well, I'm, David's governess. And she asks, Victoria asked Matthew if he knew Mr. Stoddard. And then Matthew won't say nothing. He says he's very to the point. He doesn't want to talk about anything. He just kind of wants to work. And he's just comes off as a very serious, no nonsense person. Like he's an older guy. He just wants to do his job and eat his dinner and live his life. But he's saying like Liz is great, and he takes her over to the window. It's like, look over there. Look, you see that little house over there? You can't see it behind the trees, but he tells her Liz gave him that house and his job for life. And before that, he was working at the cannery, sweeping the floors. So you can tell he's damn happy to have this job. And he does tell her that 18 years ago, Liz fired the maids, the chauffeur, the gardeners before he started. And that was the last day her husband left. And doesn't know why he left. Beach Up Too Risky placing the Blues Brothers disc into the Blu-ray player. All good. I don't know if a Blu-ray player will play like CDs or anything below it. I don't know. I bought one once and I couldn't make it work, so I returned it. And I have a Blu-ray, but I don't have a way to play it. It's okay. It's just The Mummy. I've got that on DVD. So back down in the basement, Liz is still talking with David. And David tells Liz that Roger hates him and he wants his mom to come back. And he thinks Victoria is keeping his mother away. And Liz is like, Victoria would never do that because she's an orphan. So she knows how important family is. So we're back up in the living room. Carolyn comes in. Matthew's taken off. But Carolyn wants Victoria to ask Liz about the money that was being sent to the foundling home. And Victoria's convinced to ask her. This is a good idea to her. So over in the foyer, Carolyn is on the phone, just taking a call from Joe. They do have two phones. There's the phone in the foyer. It's not always in the shot. It's almost like they just pull it out for specific scenes when people are going to talk on the phone. But then there's always a phone in the living room that is always there up against the wall. Every phone is a rotary phone. This was like exactly around the time touch tone became a thing, but we don't see it on the show. So up in the living room, Liz is speaking with Victoria, talking about that they've got to make David like Victoria. He's had it rough with his mom being away indefinitely. That's why he and Roger are at Collinwood now. And he's very attached to his mom. So Roger and David they haven't just been living there this whole time. They've really only been there about a month. We find that out. And Victoria asks Liz what she knows about her, about herself. And then tells her about the letter with her name on it and the money sent to the foundling home 18 years ago. And a lot seems to have happened back then, 18 years ago specifically. And Liz just kind of seems a little bit fed up with the questions. She calls that money that Victoria was being sent. She's like, how do I put it? Your monthly allowance. Like, damn, okay. And she just insists. Roger knew someone at the foundling home. They recommended Victoria. doesn't know who that was, and she insists that's all she knows and gets out of the room. She is done talking. She's a little bit angry. Victoria calls it the Hammond Foundling Home. It kind of doesn't matter the name of it, but I do want to write down those little details in case people pay attention to that stuff. Arden, well, Wally World will only drive Chrysler cars. He's loyal to his brand. John Rogers just says that's all I drive except for the Chevys I got from my dad. Oh, Arden saying Wally's dad worked for Chrysler, Detroit guy. Stay loyal to their cars. That's cool. Asking if he drives a Chevy or Chrysler. Arden, yeah, Wally World would never buy a Chevy. Never ever buy a Chevy. Like, oh no, I can walk. But yeah, she calls it Victoria calls it the Hammond Foundling Home. When Carolyn comes in, and I guess Joe Haskell's going to be stopping by. So Victoria wants to go into Collinsport, just downtown. And apparently there's a bus that stops by every half an hour. Okay, Collinwood again. It is up on a hill. There's a big windy road to get down to town proper. So over in the foyer, Carolyn just gives Victoria her car keys. You just met this girl last night. You don't know if she knows how to drive at all, but you just give her your car keys and tells her to watch the curves going down the hill. Otherwise, it would have been a long walk, Victoria says. And then we get a shot of the basement for the credits. We usually get a shot of something during the credits. I can think of one time where it's just a black screen, like who died? Now, do you guys name your cars as well? And you have to give them girl names. It's like boats, so they're all girls. All right, so we are the episode 7. It is July 5th, 1966. In the real world, in universe, it's just the second day. So we see Sam walking home. I do like the name Sam. I like Sam X Bruce Campbell from Burn Notice, so I dig the name Sam. It's Sam to just walk in a home. The house we saw Roger banging on the door. That's where he goes. That's the. This is a new location. It's the Evans cottage. I know we haven't heard Sam's last name yet, but spoilers, it is Evans. I have to spoil it because I just said that. I kind of screwed myself up writing his initials, but if you watch the show, you won't know that. If you watch these reviews, you know that. But this is so cute. I wonder what he was doing because he picks up the phone, asks what time it is, just to make sure his watch is right. It makes me think of calling time and temperature to set the VCRs. No, that is, he does say his last name right here at the beginning. He does say his last name, so that's not too much of a spoiler. So yeah, that's Sam Evans. He goes to pour himself a drink. And Roger stops in. The door was unlocked. The door seems to always be unlocked at the Evans cottage. So it is morning, so Sam Evans is day drinking. And he knows Burke's been back since last night. So that proves we're on day 2. And as the thought of Burke returning to town has been bothering him for 10 years. And Roger just knows that Burke's back to hurt him. So what's Sam going to do about it? And Sam says nothing. He's not doing anything about it. John Rogers says, right now I have a 2000 Durango, a 2001 Sebring convertible, and a 70 Roadrunner, a 63 Chevy, 1 ton, a 54 Chevy pickup, and a Bradley GT kit car. Damn, that's everything. That's like a garage in GTA. Dandy said I had an 84 Cutlass Supreme named Abigail after the King Diamond song. Nice. LOL, my car now has no name. Oh, that's okay. They can, she can earn a name. Just don't, like, smash the champagne bottle on it. Wally World says, that's a lot of trucks, or a lot of cars and trucks. Yeah, John Rogers is a car guy, yeah. Yeah, no friends to hang out with, so it keeps my mind busy. Yeah, I gotta have something to do. Wally says I have a Jeep and a Dodge Challenger. All right. Oh, beach app. Yeah, it wouldn't show him a Wally there for a minute. Yeah, make sure it is on live chat. Sometimes the internet just acts wonky. So now we're back over at the Collinsport Inn at the diner. There's Maggie. She's still got this blonde wig on. That does go away at some point. It is obviously a wig. It is obviously blonde, even though these are black and white episodes, and it's just not. Like she's got a face that can carry off anything. Don't get me wrong, but it just sort of makes her look older, like meaner, in a way. Just it's a new show. They're just trying out what works, so I understand. And again, I brought this up before. Check out the prices on that wall. Absolutely nothing is $1. You can probably eat a whole meal for like $3 and still leave a tip. It's crazy. Get you a currency converter that changes the currency by year to get an idea of the prices folks are dealing with. I'll start writing those down when we get into bigger prices, even though it won't be exactly up to date. It'll be close enough for this year. But Bert comes into the diner, and Maggie remembers how he takes his coffee, and Bert does not recognize her. And it's kind of pissing him off a little bit. Like, give me a hint, give me a clue. I mean, this isn't funny anymore. But she finally just says, you used to model for my dad, for her pop. And apparently he was working on a portrait of Burke at the time, but he couldn't finish it because of the trial. And here lately, Sam's only been finishing bottles of liquor lately. This is the first time it happens. Donuts! Dark Shadows donuts. This is why I got back into drinking coffee. This is why I don't buy them now because of the price. But this is why I got back. This is why I got into eating donuts. They're in the diner. Sometimes people order them. There's this little case. Sometimes there's muffins in there. Sometimes it's pie. But a lot of times it's donuts. Hell yeah. They look kind of small. They look a little bit small. They're not like Entenmann's. They're a little bit less than that. But they have donuts. So Victoria comes in and she just wants change for the phone. She must have left her cell phone at the house. And this really awkward kind of hello to Burke Devlin because she's been hearing trash talked about him all night, and then there's the man. So it's like, hi. Maggie's saying, Victoria goes to use the phone, and Maggie's saying to Burke, like, she wouldn't work at Collinwood for $100 a day. And then Burke's just interested in Victoria because she lives at Collinwood. He wants any information he can about this family. So back at the Evans College, Roger, he's just going off because Sam was at Collinwood and spoke with Victoria. And it is Sam's like all Sam told her was that he was looking for Roger, and he doesn't believe him. He calls. Wait, I think I just it's not you, it's me. I just wrote on me. No, it's down in a confusing way. Oh, so yeah. Sam told Victoria that he was looking for Roger. Roger doesn't believe him. He calls Collinwood, but they tell Roger that Victoria is out of the house, and he just does not want Victoria speaking with Burke Devlin. Back at the Collinsport Inn, I guess the line's busy. Victoria, she call and couldn't get through, so I guess the operator's going to try again and call her back. That seems to be the way it works at old movies. And then Burke invites Victoria over for some coffees, being very friendly. And says like, well, since I was the first person you met and spoke to when you got into town, that implies that I'm your oldest friend in Collinsport. And just asking why she left the big city for a small town. And Victoria's just like, hey, I'm just here for a good paying job. That's all. And then Maggie stops by the table, topping off the coffee. Burke asks for the local paper. Maggie's like, oh, sure, we got it around here. It only comes out once a week. And Burke's just, they're super casual. Burke's just telling Victoria how he used to model for Maggie's artist father. And asks about Roger. So, because we're old friends. And Victoria won't say anything to him. I'm just like, well, if you want to know how he is, you ask him yourself. Not, quite that mean, but just lets him know she's not opening up. Oh, John Rogers says, I missed my 2012 Dodge Charger. Unfortunately, I got it totaled a month after I paid it off. That always happens. Every time somebody pays off a car, something tragic happens. Yeah, Roger's kind of a jerk in both timelines I've watched so far. Yeah, he's always that way. I love him as later on. I just the character he's playing is so Capricorn, and I can't normally pinpoint my sign on other people. I'm not really that good, but some people, some characters, some behaviors, like just how rigid this person is about doing the right thing and following the rules, and like putting presenting a strong front, and all these just other, just the way that this man will just not budge on a decision until it's too late. Like, this man is so Capricorn, and that's not the best thing about him. That's later on. That's later on. That's episode like 200 or 300 ish. We'll get there. But over in the Collinsport lobby, Maggie walks into like the actual lobby, not the restaurant part. Rogers walked in, and she's told him that Victoria is over in the coffee shop having coffee with Burke Devlin. Just thinking they'd want to talk, and Roger just immediately books it out the door. It's like, oh, okay. And so back in the coffee shop, Burke's talking about just regaling her with the tale of being caught snooping around Collinwood when he was 10 years old. And then Maggie comes in and it's like, tells Victoria that Roger asked for her when she said she was with Burke, he left. And Maggie is just so cute. Oh my god. Don't tell my wife, but that's my girlfriend. Alright, yeah, Roger is a rule follower for sure. Roger is very much, he's very two-faced. He's very like, I'm a Colin and all this respectful type stuff, but then he's really doing some underhanded, shady things and doing things that cause harm to other people, and he really only cares about himself. Just very selfish. Maybe he has his reasons. Maybe he's just a dick. We'll find out. Burke asks if Roger said where he was going, and Maggie says no, but to keep an eye out for her father. She thinks he was drinking all night. And she had said something similar to Roger, like, hey, if you see my dad, let me know, sort of a thing. And Burke didn't realize that Sam's a drinker, and Maggie's like, yeah, if a lot's changed in 10 years. Like, girl, same. So we go back to the Evans College, and Sam is hitting the bottle like it owes him money. He even spills a little bit of it. Like he just cracked this bottle open this morning. A third of it is gone. So the phone rings, and it's Maggie saying that Burke Devlin is on his way over. And that phone conversation is barely over, and then there was Burke ringing the doorbell, and he just walks in. The door was unlocked. And Sam's like, oh, I'm not drunk enough. And Burke's just saying, I'm just back to see my hometown. He's just acting super innocent, super casual. And Sam is really uncomfortable with him being there, and he tells him to just come back another time. Pours a drink, just drops his glass. This man is just so frazzled. And then over at the lobby, Victoria's phone call finally comes through. And she gets on the phone. And that's where it ends. What was that, 3 episodes? That's not bad. I got like 12 minutes here. That's not enough to squeeze another episode in. But yeah, it's just the second day. And it just seems like all the guys are mean to Victoria, except for Burke. He's being kind of nice. And the girls seem to be nice to Victoria. And we're just finding out a lot of little details about the family. And some stuff went down 18 years ago, and some other stuff went down 10 years ago. John Rogers, I used to have a 70s Duster and a 72 Demon. That Valiant platform was great. Arden said, I tried to drive the Valiant, but it could only go 40 miles an hour because the seat wouldn't adjust. Ah, that sucks. You gotta be comfortable to drive, you really do. Oh, Billy Ray Cyrus. Oh, and his Nepo daughter. Oh, the bully game. I heard about that, but I never played. What was that? One of those flash games? I'd heard about it, but just never. That's probably during the time in the last 20. Uh, yeah, in the last 20 years when I should have been online instead of outside playing with my friends and going to the club. Totally missed out on some internet stuff. I could have been playing Minecraft. I could no, it just don't get into all that like shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Yeah, that's the thing about video games. They don't need to have. That's the complaint I hear about like newer games with all these spectacular, realistic graphics. It looks like a movie in the ads and commercials. It does look cool, but then you hear people play the game and they just don't like it because the story sucks, the gameplay sucks. They're maybe getting 20 or 30 hours tops gameplay out of the thing. And if you don't want to do side quests, then that's all the entertainment you're going to get out of it. So people just feel ripped off, and you're honestly better off playing a game with lesser graphics. Again, Minecraft, it does look very, blocky, very basic. You're not getting these super panoramic, sweeping Avengers type shots. But it's been, going, it wasn't like, hot right out of the box, but it is the most popular game out there currently by a long shot. And looking the way it does, like yeah, GTA 5 is the second most popular game, and that does look more realistic. It's like you're walking around California. I imagine that's exactly what California is like, but with more protests. At least the way Graystill plays it. And like, yeah, that does good, and it's nice to walk around in something that looks realistic. But I don't know, man. Minecraft's bigger. It's probably because more kids can play it too. You have to realize that. That's why, like say, children's movies do well at the box office because everybody can go see a child's movie, so they're gonna sell as many tickets as possible. It's easy to have a general audience's movie do well. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, Beach Chap talking about it. I've only watched the gameplay walkthroughs on YouTube. A lot of my video game playing in the last 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 8 years has been Let's Plays. Dan Rogers, look up the Dragon's Lair arcade game. It was wild for the time. That sounds familiar. That sounds really familiar. I want to say it was Castlevania Symphony of the Night. I brought that up before. I cannot think of the subtitle. I could have looked it up, but I didn't. I'm pretty sure, like 99.5% sure, it was Castlevania Symphony of the Night. It would have been for a regular PlayStation. You play half of it, then the castle flips upside down, you play the rest of it. It's funny because you're playing a character named Alucard, but that's fine and all. It's just a regular name or whatever, and then at some point you figure out to spell it in reverse, and it's Dracula. I'm like, oh, like who has card in their name? That's why. It's fun though. You don't think about the name of the character while you're playing it. Beach yeah, most Comedy Central comedy is all right. I used to always watch them when I watched TV. All that stand-up type of stuff. I was always into any of those. Like it's like a recurring show, but it would be a half an hour, and so the comedian would be different every time. Those kind of shows. Have you ever heard of the Amazing Jonathan? That guy. I don't know if he's still around or anything. People like that. There's like Mitch Hedberg stand-up, of course. And then look out for these. These are all over the internet. I mean, I never watched the show on TV proper, but Whose Line Is It Anyway with Drew Carey hosting? It's got one of my favorite jokes ever. I can't even think of the actors' names, but the dude's sitting there. He's got the hats game that they put on different hats. Like somebody might have a full on Indian headdress. Somebody might have a cowboy hat. But this one dude gets up there with his miner, like going into the mines, like the way Dragon Stage would work. And he's just sitting there kind of looking bummed out. And he's like, I'd like to take you out for a drink, but I'm a miner. Arden, yeah, okay, American car appreciators, peace out. Yeah, take it easy. Just got a few more minutes here. Smash the like button if you have not already. It helps out the channel. Now, next week, it's going to be a little bit all over the place with. Now, Frank already said he's going to be off for the first Labor Day, so September 1st, Monday, will be here. He is on Tuesday and Wednesday. I don't know about Wednesday as far as morning sickness mat goes. I don't know if he's back to work. I guess Frank will announce that day if he's going to that or not. I mean, it's okay if we still don't. We're just missing out on those people. There's those next month. But then Thursday the 4th, he already said he's off. He's got to get stuff set up because of the next 2 days. That's when he's having the jamboree. He does have it listed up on Quite Frankly TV that on the 5th, he is going to be going live at 7 p.m. for about an hour just to film folks around in the studio. That kind of, it's not going to be like a regular show. I'm sure he's going to be like camera, saying hi. I don't know what he's going to do, but it's not going to be a regular show. But it will start at 7. So with that in mind, the Friday show when I go live is going to be at 5 p.m. That way I can do a full 2 hours. And then, especially for you guys, you can go from my show right into Quite Frankly and see what they're doing. And then Saturday, if you're not, if you don't support the show monetarily, there won't be anything. But for the folks that do, it sounds like it's going to be filmed and possibly shown live. But there won't be anything like properly going on Saturday online like a live show. So it'll be just a regular Saturday show for me. So I'll just be here at the regular time. So it's really only 2 days of Quite Frankly, and then the rest with me. But that's okay. We've had weeks like that before. And then we'll see how it goes. Again, it is a whole week beforehand. Maybe a miracle will happen and I can get to the jamboree. And if not, that's just something else in life that's not for me. And you just have to learn to let stuff like that go because not everything's for you. You can't get so mad about a situation you can't change because getting mad is just going to upset you and there's no point in upsetting yourself. So you can not dislike a situation as much as you want, but eventually just have to, let it go. Just let it go rather than upset yourself. There's no point in upsetting yourself and other people. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. Patrick, going to anti-government march on the 13th of September, possibly 1 million plus crowd. Should be interesting. Oh, I hope they've got food. Get the taco trucks out there. Everybody chow down. Lisa Gray, yeah, we're expecting a report. Yeah, here's the man on the street with the camera. Like, look at all these people. Like filming yourself like a selfie, like you're a girl. Look at all these people. Look at all these people. Rather than turning the camera out and filming the crowd. I really hope I did not have all of the technical issues I had at the start of the show or during my last show. That wears me down more than any of the other stuff I'm going through because this is just me, my own channel, the stuff that's going to last after I'm gone. I don't want it looking crummy. That's why I'm so angry about the way the FPSs and the dropped frames and all the glitchiness. That's not okay in current year. That's not okay to watch in 5 years and 10 years and 50 years. Yeah, Rover, tacos. I can't remember the last time I had tacos. So yeah, I love all you guys. You guys give me a platform where I can see the people who have mattered the most to me for the last decade and decade and a half makes it sound like 15 years. So the last 10 and a half years. You guys are why I put up with so much stuff. It's worth it just to see people you care about and to make sure everybody has a good time. I'm not saying I cause the good times. We all do, but it's nice to be part of having fun with people you care about. I haven't had that experience in real life. Not since I was a little kid, and as an adult, people float away from each other. So it's good to be able to come together with friends like every week. Patrick said it's a really good show, Nikki. No problems. Oh, thank you. Danny said, "Love you, Nikki." Chat, yeah, love you guys. Definitely eat for me. Eat for me. I don't know what my it's like nothing's gonna hurt while I'm live, but in about half an hour, I watch all the pain come back. That's just what it's like doing. It's what it's like performing. All the other stuff, you push it away without realizing it because you don't need it while you're live, and then it all kind of creeps back in. Like, remember us? But that's all right. We get our time together, and you guys are awesome for following the channel. It would be great to meet some of you folks. It would be great to meet all of you folks. So yeah, stay safe out there. If you are traveling, it's always safety first. Don't look at your phone when your eyes should be on the road. And stay hydrated. Get some good sleep. Check out some Minecraft. It's not free. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's like $30 plus tax. But once you do that, it opens up an entirely limitless world for you. And I really do want to try to figure out how to show you guys my homes on there. We'll see how tomorrow goes. I really do want to show those off. I'm not saying they're like the greatest houses ever, but just thinking about showing you guys that stuff made me feel better than I have in I don't know, days. So if it makes me feel that good thinking about it, if I can put it here on YouTube for you guys to check out, I would. I'm not a good player, but I'm learning. So yeah, I love you guys again. I know I'm repeating myself a bit. Take it easy. Watch some Dark Shadows. Sleep, eat, stay warm. It's getting cool out there. Enjoy this time of year. A couple of years ago, it got a little bit too cold too quickly in right around in Virgo or Libra, right around in there, and I didn't quite like that. I wanted it to stay a little bit warmer, a little bit longer. That would have been nice for my cat who ended up passing away, but that's not the way it turned out. I don't want it too hot. I don't want it to get cold quite this soon. It's triggering. It's traumatic. It was still, it was like last year for me, so it's actually rather not too long ago when I think about it, but I try not to think about it because it hurts. So yeah, What to Go To said thank you so much. Happy holiday, Nikki. Oh yeah, thank you guys. Yeah, happy holiday. I've got a holiday next week anyway too, so it's all the same. Yeah, so take it easy. Remember your pants. Please pick up your pants. They're going to be on the ground all. I gotta do extra shows next week. That's just hitting me. I've been talking about it for 2 days. Okay, I'll end this. I hope it turned out great. If not, you guys are awesome for sticking with me through all the technical difficulties and all the BS. There has to be brighter days ahead, and we'll all get there together. So I love you again. Until next time.